That's an odd name. Is it a family name?
No. My father's name is Ken.
Junior?
And my mother's and I used to complain when I was a kid. I said, why did you name me Billy or Bobby? And she said, well, you grown, you
Appreciate it.
appreciate it, you want to sign your check.
Yeah. Anyway, that but you won't be 6 Kensons in your class. When our kids were born, our oldest son Michael was born, and I told him, I don't want any juniors, I don't want any Myers. So we named him Michael. I always wanted to be named Michael. Ron was born, his name was Myers. When I got to the hospital, she said, I named you Myers. Oh, I thought it was okay. But he's not a junior. We'll wait. There's a yeah. There's going to be a seat. Oh, I don't know. Mayor's going to yeah, she'll be here later. Oh, she will? Will. Yeah, will. Okay. Yeah, you.
Let me know if you need it.
Okay.
All right.
We're a little more formal tonight.
Okay.
Oh, the bandstand there.
All right.
The band.
Yeah, I might have to throw this on the
No, that
Well, you can't, no, the table is full tonight.
yeah.
Okay, so you want us up here?
Yeah.
I don't know if the meeting has started yet.
So we'll just.
It will be in a minute.
Well, it's okay. So, meeting is.
Come on, John, let's go.
We haven't even started the meeting yet. We're all confused.
We're not confused.
How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, so we're in there.
Okay, you work on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You on the DTE?
Not much.
For the whole thing?
Okay. I just graduated a few months ago, and I haven't resigned.
No, where'd you graduate?
Michigan State.
Under my door?
No.
Journalism.
Where are you on this stuff? Counter.
I got it.
One for you and one for the council secretary. But I've got a spare here.
You know what, there, it's right here, I'm sorry.
Oh, you did? Okay.
If you don't need it.
No, but thank you.
Can't believe you're gonna make a big thing out of something you already have.
Just trying to keep you here long.
Well, no, I didn't give your old one back.
Are you ready?
I'm looking for my old one.
Are you ready?
Yes,
City clerk?
thank you.
Okay. We'll call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting conducted as Committee of the Whole for Monday, April the 4th, 2011. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Fracassi.
Here.
Ms. Garrison. Here, Mr. Leon.
I'm here.
Ms. Seymour.
She will not be here. Not here.
Okay, Mr. Stiver. Here. Ms. Taylor. Here. Mr. Frazier.
Here.
You have 5 members present.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is a request for recognition from Pamela Gerald. Don't see her. All right. Moving on.
Good evening.
The next item on our agenda is DTE is going to make a presentation on our new meters. So the DTE folks in the house are prepared to make your presentation. If you come to the microphone.
Good evening.
Could you give your name and address for the record?
Sure, my name is Joseph Casino Jr., Regional Manager, Corporate and Government Affairs, DTE Energy. First of all, I'd like to say I'm happy to be here this morning, or this afternoon, this evening. I'm a long-time resident of Southfield. We were invited to come to the meeting to talk about smart meter installation. And we feel that in talking about that, this is going to alert the citizens of Southfield in regards to the smart meter installation. I think it's so important because what we did was we had a pilot program going on first, and we started working in certain areas up north, and now we're getting ready to come down and work in the city of Southfield. John Jamerson, who's the manager, he's going to be talking about the smart meter installation.
Okay.
Good evening, my name is John Jamerson from DTE Energy. I am a resident of Southfield. My residence address here is 22947 Valley View. And I came last week and talked about the smart metering program that we have. It's called the Advanced Metering Infrastructure. We began about 3 years ago. We started with a pilot on Grosse Ile. I've been with the project since before the beginning of installation. I'll start there. I was taken from my previous job and put on the team to look at the installation process, do the RFP, was involved with the contractor selection. Our project is a turnkey project. We do have our turnkey vendor is Itron. They are the sole supplier of our meters right now. They also have subcontracted for the installation of the meters themselves. The reason that we went that way is with these types of systems, if you get separate contractors to do everything, they want to point fingers as to why it's not working. We did not want finger pointing, so we went with the sole supplier. Do all of you have a packet? Okay. So what I'd like to do is kind of go through the packet, and I'll take questions at any time. What I'd really like to do is make sure I answer the questions that you may have about smart metering and what's going on with it. So in your packet, if you go to the first sheet, to your left. It's the one that says, Dear DTE Energy Customer. What we're doing is we're upgrading our metering infrastructure, just as with every other company that's looking at continuous improvement and the like. We looked at this as a way to improve service to our customers. When we first started out 3 years ago, we were looking at an AMR system, which is automated meter reading, where we just drive by and get the meter reads. At that particular time, the smart metering was just coming out of infancy, and we made a decision that we would rather go with the smart metering decision. Reason being is that smart metering is two-way communication. Not only do you get the reads from the meter, you can talk to the meter. Okay? And from a cost standpoint, it is really going to help us in saving in our metering costs. For example, to give you an example, this is our current residential meter. This is probably what you see on your house. I'll pass it around so you can see, to feel that. Now, if you are currently on a residential rate and you wanted to go to a time of use rate, we'd have to change that meter out, get a new meter. For every different rate that we have to replace the meter. This is what our new smart meter looks like. It's a digital meter. Okay. You can tell it, we've had digital meters for years on our system. You tell that this is a smart meter because of the label on it. You always, if it's blue, it will say open way. It's a smart meter. When we talk about two-way communication, we can send the programming to this meter from downtown. So you have this one meter at your house. If you want to go on a different rate, you give us a call, and within 5 minutes, this meter will be reprogrammed to the rate structure that you want. You don't have people coming out to your house.
Can I get a cheaper rate?
Yes, you can get a cheaper rate. We are going to come out with some new rate structures in the future, and that future is the short-term future. We're going to come out with what we call a DTE rate, and it's a demand peak pricing, where you will be able to lower the cost of energy if you allow us to shed some load at peak times. Now, as I go through this, I'll give you an example of how we do it today versus how we're looking to do that in the future. I'm going to pass this around, and you can tell me what you notice. So, so you may think that, okay, that's lighter, well, this one is more durable than that one, and I can tell you personally that it is not more durable than that particular meter right there. I can break this glass on this meter with one swing of a baseball bat. It takes me 3 swings with that. You say, well, how do you know that? We did the testing. I actually did it. One of our presidents was concerned about some of the same things, durability and other things. And so we called it his last name test. And so we went out there, took a baseball bat. So they are durable meters. They have a life of about 20 years. They're very accurate as well. So we're doing this to get the remote readings, so customers don't have to. You won't get that call that says, "We're coming out to read. Please put up your dog." Okay, and we don't have to be intrusive in the customers' yards anymore. It also will help us to eliminate the vast majority of our estimated bills. We read those over the air, and I'll get into the way the system works, and I'll keep it very simple of how this works. Automatic outage reporting. Anytime the power goes out or the meter loses power, it lets us know that it's out of power.
Don't have to call.
You do not have to call, but we still encourage calling. Okay. The ideal that we're looking at is you're at council meeting right now. If you had an outage, we would get the information from the meter that the power went out, and we'd be able to start the repair process before you got home to make the call. And that's where we're going. We're in the process of hooking it up to some of our, what we call legacy systems. And the legacy systems are our outage system, our billing system. We've already got it up there, but those are examples of our legacy systems. And within the next few months, we're looking to get web portal interfaces so that you can go online and view your own energy usage. Okay. So what's in the packet is a FAQ, frequently asked questions. The DVD is not inside of here. I do have DVDs. I do have the other packets that you wanted as well. The brochure, our positive door hanger, our appointment door hanger, and I'll go through all of that with you a little bit at a time so you know. So we're going to start on the left side of the packet. The brochure here talks about our program, and I'll probably say a few things that are in the presentation, and I'll just go over those very quickly when we get to the presentation piece. But it's called, we started out being advanced metering infrastructure. We did apply to the DOE for funds under the, what do we call them, from, with Obama, for smart circuits. And we did receive a grant for that. And what it is it's a dollar for dollar match. So it's not just free money. We have to spend money in order to get the money. And when we did that, we developed what we call our Smart Currents program. And the Smart Currents program consists of the smart meters, smart circuits, and smart home. This is our new brochure for advanced metering. It starts out with the installation, what happens during the installation. You do not have to be at home if your meter is outside. It's just a normal meter change for us that we would do. If your meter is inside, however, we will call and make an appointment, or we'll leave a door hanger for you to call us and make an appointment. Talks about the meter reading. Once we're done, we'll be able to read it over the air. For the first month, you may see the meter reader still come, because we are looking to do validation of reads, and we found that it's very reliable, the reads that we're getting. Talks about how it works, and I'll go through that in the presentation packet a little bit more. Some of the frequently asked questions, and one thing that I stressed last week as well, there is no charge to the customer for this. Okay? The only way that there would be a charge is if your meter box was out of code. Okay? And then the charge that you would get is not from us. We would tell you that you need to upgrade your meter box. That belongs to you. Okay? For the meter itself, there's no charge. If anybody comes saying that there is one, please call us immediately, or call your public safety here, because they were made aware last week as well. We do not want the impersonators coming out and ripping our customers off and ripping the citizens of Southfield off. So one of the things that comes up is health hazards, and there's some information in your packet about that as well, and I'll go through that. So what I'll do now is, let's go to the notices that you have. This is the happy path. Everybody's happy with this notice. That says we were able to get to your meter and install it. We also, on the back of this, we have Arabic and Spanish, so that we can reach the most of the community. If we go into a different ethnic populated community, we'll look at changing the language on the back so that everyone can understand. This one says, hey, we came by to do it, but we missed you. Would you please call us to make an appointment? And the number that's left on the card is a number to our installation vendor. There are two groups of people that are doing the installs. The installation vendor that we have, one of them is Accuread, who is our current meter reading contractor. And what we're doing with them is we are training them actually to become smart meter installers. We're doing that because we do not want to lay off people as we go through this process. So they are the ones that are being impacted. They are a minority-owned, Michigan-based company. Their home is in Ann Arbor. They've been doing meter reading for us for years. So we're giving them the opportunity, since meter reading will eventually go away, to become installers, and because smart metering is going to be just about in every state, we're giving them the opportunity to get into the business. We're training them, helping them, so that they will be able to have viable jobs in the future. So, with that, let's go to our presentation here. The second page of the presentation, if I can open up, talks about our program. I've told you that we received the DTE grant. Smart Currents is advanced metering infrastructure, smart home, smart circuit, and underlying it all is information technology. All of this does not work unless you have the IT systems in place to take care of it. And we are developing we have developed some of them, and we are continuing to develop the IT systems necessary to integrate all of these things together, so that it is when we do the web portal, you'll get the maximum information that you can get. Page 3 it talks about what is advanced metering infrastructure. Again, for Southfield, we're only doing the electric meters because you have Consumers Gas. Consumers is some ways behind us. They are looking at doing smart metering as well. They've been doing some testing. I think they're having what's called a bake-off, where they have multiple vendors come in, show their products similar to what was done in California, and then they're finally going to choose one. They could choose the same vendor we have, they could choose another one. If they choose the same one, there will be synergies that we have, that we can use to, so that the, gas would be compatible with our system as well. They choose a different vendor because of the proprietary rights that each of the vendors have. It makes it a lot more difficult to do that. So we have approximately 2.6 million electric meters in our service territory. We'll be replacing them all. And 1.3 million gas meters in our Michigan service territory, some of it which is combined. The combined areas are Detroit, Milford, up a little bit north. But we have a lot of what we call outstate gas, which is really, we have some in the UP, Michigan does, and Petoskey, Tawas, those areas up north. So in those areas, we, for the gas, we'll probably look at some type of AMR system up there. The gas, what we do with the gas meter is there's a module that goes on the meter, on the gas meter. There's no interruption in gas service. That module basically records the usage and sends its information to the electric meter, and all the information comes back from the electric meter when we call for it. If we go to page 4, currently we read your meters once a month. And if we don't get it, you get an estimated bill. Okay. With our smart metering program, we read your meters, we read them twice a day. Okay. So if your read date comes up and something happens and we can't get it, we can take the day before, the day after, send you an accurate bill. And that's what we're really trying to do. So you don't get that one estimated bill where you say, ooh, I like this, and the next month you want to call and kill us because we did the adjustment on it for you after usage, and now it's more than what your budget can bear. So we're trying to get away from that. So if you start at the bottom right, let's call it the AMI collection engine and our meter data management system. Collection engine is really a bunch of servers, computer servers that we have downtown with web interfaces so that we can pull data from the meters. The cell relay is a meter. We also have it where we can put it on poles as well. But it's like a router. It's a router to get information back down to us downtown so that to the collection engine. We have the meter data management system because we pull back more information than we have ever done. The meter tells us what the voltage is out there, just gives us tons of information. These meters form a local area network. They talk to one another, and only one of them will talk to the cell relay. All the other meters talk through that one in what's called levels. But all it means is I'm talking to you to talk to you to talk to you to talk to the router to get back downtown. So each cell relay can handle up to 1,000 meters. We keep it down at 750 just in case one of them fails. We have failover capability for the meters to go to another cell relay. It's self-healing. You lose a cell relay, the meters say, hey, I can't talk to him anymore, I'm going to go talk to someone else. So we don't lose the information that way. The meters themselves store 45 days of information. So if we have an outage, the meter is still storing the data from before the outage, and it'll pick up when the outage is over and start accumulating data again. Now when we have the outage, the meter, again, I told you before, the meter sends a message to us and say, hey, I just lost power. For our cell relays, they have a 4-hour battery backup, so we have up to 4 hours to restore the circuit before the cell relay dies. So what that means is the cell relay continues talking. It's continue listening for the other meters to hear whether they're on, whether they gave what we call the last gasp, which says, I'm out of power. And then the gas meter talks to the electric meter, as I said before, and it stores its information, and the information is picked up when we make the twice-a-day call to the meters for all of their information in it, which is your read. We can get we can get your read, what your read looks like every 15 minutes, okay, if we so desire right now, or if you so desire. Right now, we have it set for every hour, so we can see what your usage was, and you'll be able to see what your usage was every hour of the day. So, well, what is that good for? We have a lot of customers call in for high bill complaints. In the past, we just didn't have the information, we just got your once-a-month reading. Now we'll be able to, and we have, answered questions for customers and solve their high bill complaints over the telephone without having to send anybody out, because we looked at the load profile, that hourly load profile, and asked the customer, at this particular time, you had a spike in your load, well, you're using more energy. Were you doing something at that particular time? And say, oh yeah, that's when I was doing this. And okay, we're okay now. So a lot of times you don't realize that when you have that wild party, how much energy you're using for it. And so we're able to help you with that now. Okay, I'm looking at that. When we talk about the smart appliance, thermostat, and in-home display, when we first started our smart meter, we were going to take all that information through the meter itself, and now we've changed directions on that. So there'll be a gateway for the smart home portion of it. Although under smart currents, there's advanced metering, smart home, and what's the other, smart circuit. I'm only involved heavily with the advanced metering. We have different team leads for the smart circuit and the smart home, but I can speak a little bit on that. Page 5 just talks about the benefits, eliminating the manual meter reading, estimated reads, improving billing accuracy, and the need for physical access to the site. Page 6, because we have more data coming in, when you call, we'll be able to give you more answers to the questions that you have about why things are the way they are. Page 7, because we know what meters are out, we can map them to circuits. We can see where they're out. During the last storm, we actually plotted the outages for the meters that were out. And, although not much was down here, up in Lake Orion, they had quite a few outages. We have our system up there, okay? And we could see every meter that was out. So we do have the graphical capabilities to do that too. And it really helps us in getting outages taken care of faster. We can verify restoration. Right now, if just say a breaker opens at a substation and you lose a whole circuit, when we close that breaker, we say, everybody's back. But you're going to call us back and say, hey, I'm still out of power. But we're going to say, no, you're not, because we closed that breaker and everybody's fixed. We don't have any eyes. We're just saying because the breaker's closed. With the smart meters, we close the breaker, and we will be able to tell the meters that did not respond. And so now, before that crew leaves the area, we can go and we can continue the repairs till everybody has their power back on that circuit, rather than someone getting it back 3 or 4 days later because of back and forth with that. Okay? Page 8 just gives an idea of what happens. Okay, we do send an introduction letter and this brochure. This will go out to the residents, okay? As well as, if you go to the left side of your packet, I think it's the second sheet in there. The electric only letter, which is on the back, we use 2 sides. It says electric only and then electric and gas. What's up?
You said left there. Did you mean right?
The right. I'm sorry, the right side. The right side is the second document side. The front side says electric and gas. We use that in our combined areas. That's 1 letter. The back side just says electric. And what we do is we let the residents know, our customers know, that in the next few weeks, we're going to be out in your area installing our new smart meters. Here's the benefits of it. Again, with the remote meter reading, the automatic outage reporting. We're going to have new programs for energy efficiency to let them know that they don't have to be present unless your meter's inside, or unless your gate's locked. We do not hop fences. Okay. We look to contact the customer to make sure that the entry is right. Once installed, we won't have people coming back on your property after the first month. And then our website is there for people who are on life support or they have sensitive equipment. We ask them to give us a call so that we can set an appointment to come out and change the meter as well. So this is mailed out to the residents before 2 to 3 weeks before we come out to do the work. The door hangers you've seen, and if there is a short interruption with your electric meter, we say approximately 5 minutes. The actual exchange of your meter is probably less than a minute, unless there's some problems that take place. Again, if the meter box has some issues on some of the underground services that we have, when they were installed by the contractor did not put enough slack in the cables that come up to the connections. And so when winter comes and the ground freezes, it pulls down and causes tension on it. You go and take that meter out and it's going to break. You're going to be out for a while until we can get repair crews out there. You have to get an underground crew out there to re-splice the cable and put what we call frost loops back in so that won't happen again. The normal installation, again, it's less than 5 minutes. The outage should be less than a minute. We're committed to communicating. That's why I'm here tonight. What we do first is we try to get to the city officials. We do that so that you know what's going on in your community. If people call, you are at least aware that we're supposed to be there. I just gave the city clerk a picture of what the ID badges look like that the contractors will be using. Now, the 2 pictures on there, those guys left, so you won't see them, but that's what the ID badge looks like. We're willing to come out and participate in any meetings, community that are there. I also have some copies of the installation DV if you need more copies of that, so you can take a look at that. Page 9. Page 10 talks about our smart home program, which a young lady by the name of Sean Somerville heads up for the company. We're looking at doing in-home displays, programmable thermostats. The programmable thermostats, the way we envision them, right now some of you may have our interruptible air conditioning rate, where we give you a deal if you allow us to interrupt your air conditioning 20 minutes every hour. When we do that, we're doing it on the hottest day of the year because that's when the load is the highest. And a lot of people don't like that. With programmable thermostats, if you have it set at 68, what we do is say, if you let us take it up to 71, we'll give you a discount. Okay. Now, 71 is not as uncomfortable as 20 minutes of the house getting hotter. And now you have to run it longer in order to cool it back down again. So those are some of the benefits of the programmable thermostats. We're joint venturing with one of the appliance vendors to look at smart appliances and what your appliance will tell you how much energy it's using. Okay. That usage will go over to the smart display. That program is going to probably start toward the end of the year, where we'll be soliciting for customers for that particular program. One of the stipulations is you do have to have a smart meter. That's for that program. We also, in Oakland County, we've done, people are using the hybrid vehicles. So we have a rate for the hybrid vehicles, and we've used the smart meter for that particular purpose as well. Page 11 gets into what we're looking at as the smart circuit, and what we're really doing is putting more intelligent devices out. The intelligence means that we can communicate them. We have manual devices, we have automatic devices, and then we have devices we can communicate with. What we want to be able to do is, instead of that breaker opening for the station, we want to be able to put switches that will automatically open to isolate the outage that you're having. The outage may be at the tail end of the circuit, but the breaker's going to open up at the station now. We can get some protective devices in the middle there. What we end up doing is opening up the protective device, so everybody from the substation to the protective device would stay energized, they'd have power. And then we also know that that device is open because it's telling us it is. We know to send crews to that device and out. Right now, if we have an outage, the crew starts at the substation, and they walk that whole circuit to find out where the trouble is. And again, that's time consuming. If we piggyback that with knowing which meters are out, it just gives us a lot of information so that we can do a better job in our outage management. Okay? So that is the last page, and for some reason I think they did 2 page 12s, but what it is the DVD that we have is, you can also access it from a YouTube site, and that's in the last page there as well. On the continuing with the right side, and that should be done in just a couple minutes here. What we've done, we do have the frequently asked questions. I'm not going to go through there and read those. You can look at those, and if you have some questions on there. But it's why are we doing it? Do you need to be home? Those types of questions. Behind there also, we have been getting questions about the health effects of RF, and RF being the radio frequency. So what we've done, we're actually building up our website more to put more information about the health effects. You have 3 particular documents, and we'll get to that later. One is no health threat from smart meters. It's done by a professional engineer who is the Director of Standards and Engineering of the Utilities Telecom Council. We're trying to get information so it's not like, oh, the utility is just giving us their own stuff. The open way radio frequency, frequently asked questions, is by Itron. They are a vendor, but they also look and talk about the effects. And it's interesting that most of the information that we get, your cell phone emits more RF than the meter itself. Okay. When you look at people, begin to talk about RF, do you have Wi-Fi in this building?
Yes.
It's same difference, and the Wi-Fi is actually more than the smart meter. And that, if you look at, at your leisure, if you take a look at the no health threat from smart meters document and turn to page 6, you'll see the level of RF that comes from each of those devices, and it's just, so we have that. There's a lot of information that's out there today. A lot of it emulates from California about the health effects. So what we're trying to do is just present the other side and give that to the customers as it's requested, to have them at least have the balance and make an informed decision as to what they would like to do. With that,
Mr. Lance?
I knew he'd call me first.
You raised your hand first.
That's right. Okay. You answered the first thing I wanted to say is the charges. No charges.
no charges.
Okay. The second one, the meter readers, you answered that one too,
Yes.
which is very good. I'm happy to hear that.
Those are our contract meter readers. We do have a few of our own internal meter readers, and they get preferences on jobs that become available. They are protected probably for another 6 years. Our meter reading average age is probably around 52, 53 for the in-company meter readers. So by the time that we finish the project, a lot of them will have taken other jobs, and some will be ready to just retire.
What's the average age of your outside meter readers? Because most of them are young.
Oh, most of those are young. They're, I don't know the average age of them, but these guys are walking miles and miles a day. There are some, they are,
Pretty young.
the meter readers.
But there will be some who will fall through the cracks, that will not have a job.
When you look at it from the contractor standpoint, there may be some that don't have a job.
Don't they have a fair amount of turnover?
They do. They have a large, that's why we started, that's why we looked at trying to get them over in here, but we turn over meter readers, monthly. Because they start out and they, like I say, they got a lot of walking to do. And to be realistic about it, they got some neighborhoods they don't wanna go in, but they have to go in to read the meters. And they get tired of getting harassed. One of the good things is even with our own people, because they go into those same neighborhoods, the Edison people, they get to know the customers. There are areas where we know we need to be in this area at this time and out. And this time is like 6 in the morning to 8 o'clock. After that, we don't even go in there. There are areas where we have police escorts, or our security escort is in, that we go in.
How many meter readers do you employ, or the vendor employs?
I don't have that number.
Must be thousands.
No, not thousands. It's, I would say it's in the hundreds, but it's, I can get that number for you, I just don't have it right now.
Curious about that.
But our goal, especially, that's why we want, when we first started the program, we needed some experience, so the vendor that we use, had to come from out of state because we didn't have the capacity in the state of Michigan to, start it up and get it going. That's why we said we wanted a Michigan-based vendor and to get the people and keep the people in Michigan working, especially in the areas where we are. So that's why we're the meter readers that are contract. We are turning them over, and they are becoming our installers, rather than just saying, see you.
All right, now, if, I said, the marijuana project comes to light in Southfield, the marijuana growers will not like you, because they have those big...
But we will like them.
And you will know.
We will love them.
Yeah, I know, they're gonna pay a lot of money for their electricity.
Yes, they are,
I know
either that or they're
But
going to.
they won't like you.
Either that.
You will be able to judge when they use their heavy lights in growing marijuana, and that'd be good for us too.
Right.
It's good.
So right now,
I mean, good information for us to close it down.
Chief Thomas brought up something the other day when we were talking, and he had indicated that if marijuana is growing illegally, we'll be able to tell also.
Yeah.
And so he'll be able to alert us when we alert him.
And you'll be able to even tell it now when they'll grow illegally, and they do.
it doesn't stop them from, a lot of your illegal growers are really stealing energy, bypassing the meter. So one of the things that I didn't bring up that...
Is it easy to bypass the meter? What people do with the electric, or bypass the
It is dangerous to do it the way people are doing it. What we see is they use knives, forks, spoons, jumper cables, hanger wire. And that is very dangerous in that open meter box.
In New York City, they used to do it, Lower East Side, poor people. At certain times of the day or night they would do it.
We have that here.
Yeah.
We've been able, that's one of the things, every time that meter comes out of socket, it loses power, it sends us a message. So if you take that meter out of socket for 4 hours, we see that you have a power down. Now, if you're doing it every day, we get the information daily, and we look at that and say, we know what's going on here. And so we'll send one of our theft investigators out at that particular time when we know that meter is out to see what's going on. And we found meters on the ground.
Will the electricity be cheaper now with this meter, or just like it is today?
The rates are set by the MPSC. We go and we ask for maybe an increase or whatever, and the MPSC, they're the determining body. The MPSC is looking for rate relief from us overall for the area.
You keep raising the fee all the time, just like the rest of the utilities. All right, that's besides the point.
Michigan is a little bit different for us because what we did is, Michigan got hit really hard when the autos folded. So a lot of load was lost, and so when you look at it from that perspective, the rate increases that we've gotten have been smaller than really what we asked for. And that's the MPSC's job is to the commission, the Michigan Public Service Commission's job is to look over everything and say, you're asking for this, we're not giving it to you. We see that you did do this, we'll give you this much. We can't do that ourselves.
And actually, the rates was frozen for about 7 or 8 years because John England in 1992 wanted to have deregulation of the electric industry. So he wanted to have people that were able to come in and buy and sell electricity. Well, of course, the people that was able to buy and sell, they sold it to Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Chrysler. They do not sell electricity to residential customers because they feel that residential customers will not pay. So DTE Energy is still the monopoly when you talk about residential customers.
Last question, radiation. I am very cautious about the report from the FCC. Because my experience with the FCC and the cell towers is that they're not telling the truth. Okay? So, and we can see it, we can prove it, but it doesn't make any difference to them. What the report they put out, everybody believes it, and the green bills that do the talking. There is radiation out of these things. You say it's lower than the cell phones.
Yes.
Okay.
According to this, much lower.
So
Much lower, yes.
So
So
you'll
safe they can put it in their pockets and tape it to their ears and everything, and not get sick in 6 or 7 years, okay?
So are you aware they did just finish the cell phone study, and the only thing that they could conclude is that it does cause the side of your brain that the cell phone is on?
I know, and I've been talking about that for years, and people have died with brain cancer because of it. It doesn't happen soon. It takes 6, 7, 8 years to happen. And all the radiation that we know takes place happens.
So
but nobody believes it.
So what we do is for those who have issues like that, we will do testing. And what we'll do is we'll come out and we'll test the noise level without the AMI meter in there, okay? Because there's ambient RF all around, because not only the cell towers, satellites, everything that we just about have. So you got a cell phone, you have wireless, even your radio and your television, all of that. So we'll measure, and we've done that. We'll measure the RF floor, and then we'll put the AMI meter in, and we'll remeasure and see what the gain is. And we've done that. We had a customer over on Grosse Hill when we first started. They said, well, I'm allergic to the RF, I want you to take the smart meter out. I go by these things and I just get all these tinglings. So we said, will you help us with this? What we want to do is we want to do a blind test with you. They happen to have 2 meter boxes. One of them was not being used at the time. So we put our electromechanical meter back in, and it served the house. we put the AMI meter in, the smart meter in, and we put an on and off switch, and we covered up the glass on the meter box so she couldn't see it. Every day we had somebody go by and either cut it on or off. Every day she would record when she felt the worst with thinking the RF was there. At the end of the day, we did that for about 30 days. At the end of the day, we came back and we compared notes. She felt the worst when the AMI meter was off. When we presented the data to her and everything, she said, okay, you can install the meter. Because she realized that it wasn't the meter that was causing her issue, it's something else. I had people call in and told me that, you know, come get the smart meter out, it's making me sick. I said, these are actuals. And I told her, you don't have a smart meter. People look at a digital meter and think it's a smart meter. And I told her, you do not have a smart meter. And she, you know, it took a while for me to talk to her, but she now knows that she doesn't. It's just a digital meter. We've had them for years. And she told me that she'd go into the room where the wall was with the meter, and she'd just start falling out and everything. But the fact of the matter is, she didn't have one. She sent me a doctor's note that says she had these allergies, and at the bottom she said, thank you for talking to me. I understand I don't have a smart meter, and you can leave the meter there. So there are all types of things that are going on with people. There are people that do have the sensitivities, and, you know, we look and try to say that, oh, no, but the fact of the matter is, there are some people out there that have different allergies, sensitivities, and everything than we do. What we do in those situations is, again, we'll go and we'll give them the information so that they can read it. We'll offer the testing, okay? And if they give us a medical reason from the doctor, we will remove the AMI meter temporarily and see what happens. But
I have the last question. The cell phone towers, the bases of them have all the electrical machinery and everything. Are you involved in any of that? DTE
No,
involved
sir.
in that?
we stick to electricity. We don't know the cell phone business.
No, the electric in the cell
Now, if
towers.
that's applied to them to operate the tower, we will supply power to the cell towers.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, we do supply power to them.
And is any radiation coming out of that?
When you look at the overhead and underground lines that we have, EMF, electromagnetic frequencies do come out of there. That was a big thing for us about 10, 15 years ago. We put a group together to really go out and actually do the measuring. And again, because we had customers at the time, EMFs that were saying the cows were growing two heads, this was happening, and everything else. You know, that's the bottom line with it. And we assembled a team, and we actually went out to customers, and we did the testing.
And what did you find?
We found that there was low levels out there, just like, you know, they said that they found low levels of radiation from the reactor in Japan up in Lansing. Whether that's actually from Japan or not, I don't know, but I know they found radiation up there from what they're saying. But what we find is, yes, they do emit, but as far as from everything being a health hazard, it did not raise it up to cause the issues that they were talking about.
Let me tell you, and then I'll stop. 3 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, on the corridor of Greenfield from 8 Mile to 13 Mile, the radiation content was so heavy there. There were 7 cases of child leukemia in that area at Providence Hospital. The people who live there, you know the grids around there, 10 Mile and all that, 11 Mile. So it has to come from the electricity somewhere.
What I would tell you is that my brother-in-law, who was about 17 years old, came home feeling bad. Took him to the hospital. He had leukemia, not at the grid. Within 2 months, he was dead. So that wasn't caused by EMS. Again, the only thing I can say is, you know, you'll read studies that there's a problem with it, you read studies that there's no problem with it, and then you have to make a decision. What I look at is what's happening out in the world. Here, there's cases where it's happening where there may be an environment like that, but there's other environments where it's happening where the environment isn't that way. So how do you bring all of that together? And how do you pinpoint the real cause of what's happening? I don't have that answer, but that's the question that it
Well, the
arises.
answer is easy. Basically, it's easy. That environment there is a dangerous environment. They have the radiation there.
What about the other environment where they don't have it?
Okay, that's fake. I don't know. Maybe the same, you don't have the same electricity in that other area.
But, you know, again,
But, you know,
I really don't have the answer.
The wires sing. Have you ever been in the country and listened to the wires?
Oh, yeah.
Electric wires, they sing.
It's called Corona.
Yeah. All right, anyway.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying.
About that.
I really don't, I'm not the expert, I don't have the answers. I'm looking at it from, like I say, I've seen the other side. I know the websites out there when they talk about health risks. We're also aware that, customers can go to sites and just get stuff. There's a website out there right now for profit where they're saying no smart meters. They're selling bumper stickers. They're selling all of this stuff. And it makes you wonder what's really going on out here. But again, I don't think anybody is going to do anything to set themselves up for a lawsuit or a purpose.
Well, not anymore, they can't win.
Yeah.
There are signs on the bases of all the cell towers, the people will stay 13 feet away from the base of the cell tower. FCC finally put the warnings on there. But anyway.
As I say, I don't have the answer for you. All I can do is get more information, read a little bit more, and then
It wouldn't
you
help,
just
I
have to
have it
make a
all.
decision.
I have it, sulfate.
Okay, Mr. Pegassi?
Yes. Just some questions about, how does this interact with new solar panels and turbines? Are they on a separate, are they totally separate from your operation?
So we have another group at the company that is looking at solar power and wind power, and we're about to start on the wind farm up north. These meters will be used to monitor the energy usage. For the solar right now, there are people in Oakland County that have solar panels. And so with the program that we have for solar, we buy the energy generated from the solar panels from you to use on the grid. Okay? So we use the same meter, and we program it for what's called bidirectional. So it sees what's going in and what's going out. And that's how we can determine how much you're going to get a credit for, because you generated green power back to the system versus how much you're using.
So it interacts then with your meter?
Yes. The energy, that's the point of energy, just say transfer and accumulation, is that meter for the solar.
Now, who meters the solar panels or the turbines to see what usage they have and how much usage goes into when they're not functioning?
We do that.
Okay.
Those meters, but if
So you
it's in our service
blend
territory-
those two uses
Right.
together, and whatever that difference is what you bill?
Yes. You get a credit for what you sell back to us, and then there's a charge for what you use. And if the credit for selling back is more than the charge for what you use, then you get a credit on your bill.
This is wireless, and I was just reading one of these documents that you have, and if that is wireless and it's a frequency, how does that interact with your wireless computer that you may have? Is there any interference, or can there be any interference?
We haven't found any interference with the Wi-Fi. The meters are on a 900 megahertz frequency. So, a lot of your, even your wireless phone at your house is on, they started with 900 megahertz, now and that's your remote phones. Now they went up to 2.4 gigahertz. So they changed the frequency just so they won't have that interference.
So will that be a continuing thing, or will that at some time, I guess, not work? For example, you can go outside this window, we're wireless, and you can hook your computer up and you can take off on Southfield's wireless. There's that much of an overlap. And I'm just wondering with your frequency, if something should ever change, if that would interfere or tap into what the privacy of that computer user is.
They're two separate systems. You realize that we don't want anybody tapping into ours, just as you as a customer don't want anybody tapping into yours. If you can tap into that meter and get back to our network, now you're in our customer billing network.
Well,
So
I'm just wondering about hackers.
Yeah, we took the meters, and we used a company called INL, Idaho National Labs. That's what the government uses. We gave the meter and said, and the vendor had to support as well, hack into the meter. Tell us how people can hack into it, what's wrong with it. We also went to another independent company and said, and they wanted to take it apart and even try to solder into the components of it. Okay. So what we have, we're looking at the security of our network because your information is in our system, and we don't want the leaks. And if somebody can get in and mess with the bills and everything else, and we're guarding against that. By the same token, just because it's wireless, if you know, Southfield has a public network. If you're in your neighborhood and you search for networks, you can find networks, but you have to have their passcode to get in that network. And that's what this is about. Wi-Fi is out here, but when you have security on there, you can't just get in. You have to have the passcode to get into the person's network.
The other question I have is, when are you going to begin this process of eliminating what we presently have and putting in the new system? And how long would it take for Southfield to be totally converted?
We are going to start in Southfield within the next couple of weeks. Total conversion we're looking at, I'm estimating right now is October. The reason it's that way is we are doing it by what we call our meter reading billing cycles. We don't want you to get an estimated bill. So when the meter readers are out reading your meter, we're not doing installations in that area. We have like a 2-week window to install, and then we gotta move. And then we come back 2 weeks after that.
Thank you very much. I think it's very impressive. Going this route.
My question is just answered.
Okay. One of the questions that some folks may have that you didn't exactly cover tonight, and that is non-payment of your electric bill, how it works.
So, let's go. The meters do have a disconnect switch in them. All your residential meters have a disconnect switch. We are working with our collections department right now, and what happens is a collector goes out to shut off somebody, and it's like the lookouts on the corner, you better cut them off and get out of there because the customers get upset. What we've done is integrated the collections work where we have AMI meters into the process. So we follow all of the same processes, except we do not send the employee out there to put them in harm's way. When it comes to that point, we will open the disconnect switch in the meter. That takes anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. What we have, the bigger part of it is not on the disconnect, it's reconnecting the customer. If the customer calls in on Friday at 12 o'clock and wants a reconnect, they may not get hooked back up until Monday under normal circumstances. because we have 24 hours of business. So if we can get you that night, it's great. If we have somebody working Saturday, you're really doing good. But normally, it'll be like the Monday. These meters, they call in at noon, say they paid, they give us the information, they're back on by 1 o'clock or before. As
All
soon as
done
we
by
get
computer.
the,
It's all done by computer.
it's all done by computer and from downtown.
So the policy and the number of days hasn't changed, it's all computer. So instead of having the meter reader come out and turn you off, they'll be able to turn you off at the meter.
So that helps, what it really helps, right now, if you're getting ready to move out as well, and you say, okay, I want you to cut my meter off on this day, well, we may not be able to get out there on a day with the meter reader, with the, field service rep to shut that meter off, it may be 3 days later. You're paying energy for those 3 days, even though that meter, you're saying, take it out of my name. What we're able to do is when you call in, what time do you want it? What day do you want it? Don't tell us noon on Friday and you really meant 3 o'clock, because it's going off at noon on Friday, because that's what you asked for. So we're able to give you the service. By the same token, if you move into a home that has an AMI meter and the meter's off, and you say, hey, I need service on, as soon as you get all of your account information set, and it's all set up, send a signal, you're on. You don't have to wait a couple of days for that again.
And I presume that you're adding to your workforce to make sure that these timeframes are maintained, so that as more and more of the smart meters are put in, you're gonna have the backup force to do exactly what you're saying, the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out.
Yeah, we have that. Again, since it's automated, we really do it around the clock.
Mm-hmm. But somebody has to
Our
do it.
operations area, they have people that are on call. They're on call on the weekends,
Okay.
and they have access to the system from home.
Okay. One other question, and that is, some folks right now have their own generators in case of a power outage, and they do have their own hookup. Some start up automatically and some are manual, but nothing has to change with that, with the new meter?
It's all the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So nobody has to do any kind of rewiring or anything?
No rewiring.
Because it's just slip the meter out, slip the
It's just taking
meter.
that meter you got out and putting the new meter in. It's not messing with wiring. We do, like to talk to the customers to see what type of, relaying setup they have. Some, are on a time delay, so they won't, as soon as the power goes out, it won't start up, because you don't want it starting for a momentary outage.
Right.
Sustained outages for us is anything over 5 minutes. The tree falls down, tree limb falls down on a wire, that wire can blow off within 5 minutes and power's restored. So we're working all of that in.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm sure that will change is when power is out, people call in and complain and say that my power was out for 2 days and there's a rebate. You can say, no, it wasn't out for 2 days, it was only out for 15 minutes.
That's the other piece that's there. We will be able to, we have a lot of customers that call and say that my power's out, and it's actually something else. And they just want you to come out to look at it. It may be something on the inside of the house. We have the ability now to what we call ping the meter, and it's basically send a signal and say, do you have power? And the meter will say, yes, I have power. Well, and we'll just tell the customer, we see that you do have power. Well, why would we do that? Because the resources that we have, we want them for real emergencies. And so we want to be able to send the right resource as well to that home. So if you have power, what is your real issue? A lot of times we'll send people out and we can't resolve their issue anyway, because it's an electrical issue inside the house that they need an electrician for. So they think, we do that business.
Now, do you have an interface like the telephone company does that you can open up the circuit so that you can tell whether or not you're getting power up to a point, and then if they're still not having power, or if they, you know, they like to speak about phone service, they don't have phone service, it's inside the house or it's outside the house.
That's what we're looking at. If we have power to the meter,
Mm-hmm.
then the problem more than likely is inside the house.
Okay.
And we do charge to go inside the house, but it's a lot less than an electrician. And we'll go in and we'll look and see if we can, find there's some things, some of our folks are electricians, but they're not allowed to practice their electrician craft while they're on the clock, and we strongly discourage them from going to customers' houses and then saying, okay, I'll come back and do the repair. Customers misconstrue that and think it's DTE,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll may make a call, and that employee may get fired for doing that.
John, could you also explain that you're responsible from the pole to the drip loop down to the meter, and the customer is responsible from below the meter to their circuit breaker?
The house service, the service entrance is from the bottom of the meter box into the home, and that is a responsibility of the customer. Right now, the meter box itself is the responsibility of the customer. Okay? So what used to happen, if you got a service upgrade, you were building a house, your contractor would come and, you know, that meter box would appear. Well, what we found was happening is we used to supply those for free. The contractor would charge the customer. So in your bill, you get, and they get it from us free, we said, no, we're not doing this anymore. So now the contractor actually has to buy that box.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yeah,
Mr. Sack?
this is gonna include all the commercial practices too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you do it, starting in a couple of weeks, I assume you're doing it by neighborhoods and...
It's by route, and a route usually goes through a neighborhood, but the commercial customers will lag the residential customers.
Okay.
We only allow the vendor to do the simple work.
Okay.
Okay? So if they can take it out and put it in and keep moving, that's what they do. If they can't do that, they turn it back over to us.
Oh.
I have one question on this. We have a large, senior population. If they make an appointment with you and for some reason you can't keep the appointment, do you notify people that you're not coming?
They should be doing that. To say that they're doing it all the time, I can't back that up. But usually what we do is we keep the appointment. The vendor, most of the time our vendor is making the appointment to come to the house to do that, and they usually keep their appointments.
Okay.
For the commercial customers, a lot of the commercial customers will not lose service at all because of the wiring set up for them. We have bypasses that we use because you can't shut down a gas station or a McDonald's or a hospital to change the meters. So the very wiring that's put in when the building is first built is such that we can bypass the meter, take the meter out, leave them with service, put the meter back in, take the bypass off, and the customer never loses power when we do the meter change.
They do it with coat hangers and jumper heads.
Yeah. One of the devices we use is called a crow foot, but it's actually a jumper device.
Okay.
Okay, you must have quite a aftermarket for your old meters.
Actually, what we do with the old meters is, we worked out the deal, we're getting rid of all of these off the system. We scrap the meters after we get done with them. We had looked at, salvaging them, but, you know, you'd have to find, the world now is going digital.
Yeah.
So if it's not the digital with the radios in it, it's still a digital meter that's going to be out there.
Okay.
We can also shut the radio off in these meters and leave them out there, but who would believe that we shut the radio off if we left it out there? So we probably just go out and take it out for those customers. And we've had some that have sent in medical reasons from doctors, and we've acted accordingly.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Point of interest, some of the meters are used for retirement gifts. What they do is make a lamp out of the meter, and it's given to the person that's retiring to get.
Okay.
When they cut the light on, it turns. So, thank thank you for the opportunity.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay,